TB in the house, man. How you doing, bud? What's a day in the life of Terrence Brown right now?
Oh, what's going on, Dane? Man, I mean, honestly, right now, just trying to get adjusted and acclimated to a new addition to the household.
Oh,
Um,
congrats.
with the son being born 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks in I think 3 days now. It's definitely been an experience, but it's a blessing to be able to, I guess, experience it. So honestly, during this time period, I more likely would be out on the road right now doing some recruiting. So,
Right.
um, you know,
Blessing in
I,
disguise.
exactly. So the unfortunate circumstances with the pandemic going on, but it's really paid its dividends in terms of being able to, help my wife out and be here and actually experience, some of his first days of living. So it's
Are you
cool.
guys getting any sleep?
Um, Honestly, I would like to say that we're getting a lot of power naps, getting a lot of power naps. But he's actually not that bad. I mean, he's finding a way to get some consistent hours, which works really well for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, welcome back to UW. Why don't you
yeah,
tell everybody a little bit about your journey while you were gone and also what made you want to come back?
yeah. Well, so I was a part of the University of Washington football program from 2015 to 2017, and then I had the opportunity to go. Off to a different location, go to Vanderbilt University, to I guess reconvene with one of my old position coaches from college. And it was a great experience, and obviously old Coach Mason, the respect and really gratitude for providing me with that opportunity to kind of grow within this coaching industry, learn some things, and it obviously provided me the opportunity to be able to come back this way to Seattle. And Coach Lake reached out to me once the transition, everything took place. He reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in coming back to the Pacific Northwest, I obviously was really excited for this opportunity to be presented. And my wife and I had a conversation, and we were thrilled to get back this way. Be a part of Husky Nation and be back with this tradition of some solid, strong football being played here. So,
Was there even an interview process with Jimmy?
I mean, I guess you could say it was somewhat of an interview.
Yeah. He knew what he had and he wanted to get you back.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was really fortunate and really blessed to have had the opportunity to work with him in the first round, those few years, and learn from him, and use what I learned from him in my coaching experience at Vanderbilt. And I think when it all came down to it, I think I put forth a good work ethic and obviously did things the right way, and set forth me being able to return. And for that, I'm extremely grateful.
Yeah. How much tape have you watched of the group you've inherited here? And I know you know a few of these guys from your first go round, but quite a few new faces as well.
Right. I mean, I've watched a lot of tapes since I've been back. I mean, first day I got back, try to get refamiliarized with the defense. Not much has changed, but try to get refamiliarized with the defense and as well as our position group at the same time. And as you mentioned, a few of the guys were here when I was here. Keith Taylor, Elijah Moden, those guys were freshmen when I was here my last year. So I had the opportunity to coach them during that year and that season, and to see the growth that they've had over the past couple of years is absolutely amazing. And then a lot of the other guys I had the opportunity to develop a relationship with through the recruiting process. Like the Kyler Gordons, the Don Hamptons, the Julius Irvings, which while I was here, which it wasn't too much different, in terms of, getting familiar with them. And, some of the other guys, from working at camp back in the day, like Cam Fab and those guys, Trent McDuffie and those guys. So, from watching tape, you gather more knowledge of where they are now as collegiate football players. Speaking of those guys that I knew during the recruiting time, but it's not much, new, if that makes sense.
Sure.
It's not much new. I think I kind of already, walked in the room, felt like I'd already had a relationship with those guys, which was
That's huge.
absolutely special. It's special to be able to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of talent in that room, and they really had a great season a year ago for a lot of young guys, a defense that gave up just 19 points a game, once again. But, there's always next steps. And I think for this group of defensive backs, especially maybe at the safety position where you were really young a year ago, what are the next steps in 2020 this group will need to take to win a Pac-12 championship?
Well, I think Coach Lake and Coach Harris did, a really good job with these guys last season. And as Coach Lake has always done a really good job with this group in the past. So I think a lot of these guys are prepared from having already, been in the room in terms of what those next steps are. Everyone has been taught prepare as if they are a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously they still got some growing pains that everyone has to endure during their college career, but a lot of these guys have heard those messages for the past, past year or so. So, talk about next steps is, first and foremost, being able to get back on the football field with each other.
Yeah, right.
Get back on the football field with each other as a team. But then you're doing a really good job right now and handling their business. And, I think ultimately just playing together as a unit, which we have been able to do in the past, and being ultra competitive, So I don't think there is, much more, like, I don't say there's a lot of room for them to grow, but obviously they still have to grow, but they've all been taught to prepare as if they are the guy,
Yeah.
One of our main models in the room, separation is in the preparation. And so like those guys it's already molded in their minds, in their brains of what it takes to be the guy and for this team to do what it is that we want to do. So ultimately, we talk about team unit me all the time. They got to be able to work together. We talk about being the best unit in the country. Well, that's the next step. Everyone being able to communicate effectively. We talk about communication breeds understanding. Okay, and we talk about just the competitive nature in the room, which will allow for us to be who we want to be come Saturday, September 5th.
Talk about some of those competitive games that you guys play within the room. I love some of that stuff, like obviously the interceptions, but obviously in the NFL it's money and stuff. But what are you guys wagering in that DB room to make it so doggone competitive in every practice and game that you guys do?
Right. Yeah, that's what this team is about, fostering a competitive environment, right? That's we were just talking about with our guys last night in that team meeting, competing everything that we do. And I think, as a unit, as a group, as a family, you want to be able to grow and bond in any sort of way. And right, and competition happens to be one of those ways in which we can bond. When I first got back, we took the defensive back group, Coach Harris and I took the defensive back group out bowling, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one way of us to compete. Neither one of us are 300-point bowlers on a consistent basis, but that's kind of how we are as a group. And obviously, during the year we always have competition who has the best hands in the room,
Yep.
which our job is to get the ball back. Score, get the ball back. That's what has always been stressed in this room.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we take every opportunity that we can to practice that, right? So
Sure.
we talk about practice. Okay, who's going to create more turnovers today? Who's going to cash in on opportunities? And that leads to a lot of other competitions in the room and so forth. So we try to mix it up, give them something new, give them something fresh. But like I said, that's what brings us close as a unit.
Mm-hmm.
Camaraderie and it's fun. And it gives those guys something else to look forward to rather than just oh man, we got to backpedal today. Oh, we got to break. Oh, I got to hear, Coach Harris, Coach Brown. Oh, I got to hear Coach Lake tell me this and that. It creates another type of energy and vibe to the game,
Yeah.
to their job and their responsibilities.
You've been around Coach Lake a long time. Now the first time he's a head coach.
Yeah.
What's that like?
You know what? I think I listened to Coach. I listened to Elijah Moden's interview the other day, and he's he said something along the same lines. Well, it's awesome to see his mentality and his philosophy that he's had in the defensive back room. Awesome to see him kind of carry it over to the team, and now it's permeating throughout the entire team. It's not just in that one position, where it's not just in the defense. Well, now it's being reflected, with the specialists. It's being reflected with the line, and I think that's what's been really, really refreshing for me to see, in terms of there's not much transition in who he is. Now, obviously, he has a lot of other things that he has to handle with the title and everything, but he's going to be himself, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the feisty and the attack mode mentality of who he is carried over to the rest of the team. You're going to get the competitive nature of who he is carried over to the rest of the team. And obviously the sincerity and the care of his student athletes, right? You see that, when we have our team meetings and being invested in some of the conversations of, Michael Jordan being the GOAT and everything along those lines. Like those are fun, and that's who he is. That's how he's been with the defensive backs. How everybody else is getting a chance to experience that. And obviously he's holding everybody to the standard, and that's never going to, being the best that they can be on a day-to-day basis. So, it's real. He was a head coach of the defensive backs, right?
Sure.
Essentially, right? He was a head coach of the defensive backs, and now he's got the full team. And I think he was obviously well prepared for it, and I'm excited to see where this is going to go. It's just fun, It's really fun.
Yeah. Now you've been a Pac-12 guy. You played at Stanford, and now here at Washington. And how do you think this conference, has evolved in your years and just being around it?
Yeah, so when I first came into the Pac-12, it was the Pac-10 at the time. As you played in
We're
it as
getting
well,
old,
right?
man.
It was a Pac-10 at the time. Teams, but it was early on. It was really those traditional power football. How we play, and what we're working towards getting to. And I mean it's really not that drastic of a difference. It's just now everyone's continuing to fight. Everyone's continuing to fight week in and week out, which is, has always been the case. And it's the competition is always at its high. It's always going to be at its high. And it's been like an uphill ascension, really, to see where football has gone. In the offenses in the Pac-12, but it forces you to bring your best stuff week in and week out. Everyone's coming with their best. Every game is like a championship game, and that's what it's turned into. So we always, like I said, work on throughout the week, preparing to be able to play our best game come Saturday. So
yeah. Well, TB, any message for Husky Nation, Husky fans out there? It's been tough. No spring ball. No, who knows with training camp here. We're gonna play football this fall. We have to. But what message you got for fans until we all get together?
Man, Husky Nation, I think obviously during these times, it seems real gloom. But I think you guys can take light in the fact that we're handling our business as a program. Coaches are doing our jobs. And the players are doing their jobs, and we are really excited to get back to this fall season, be able to get back in front of you guys, just feel all the energy, the electricity, man, just the excitement in Husky Stadium that we all miss. Unfortunately, that we didn't have a spring game, but we'll be ready to go come September 5th, and we can't wait to see everybody in that stadium in their purple and gold, getting ready to go ahead and put it to them.
I like it. TB, thanks for your time. Congratulations on the new son, and be safe and healthy, pal. We'll hope to see you soon.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for this time.
You got it, pal. Have a great day.
All right, take care.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.